Hello, and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, Gen Con, and the gaming capital of the world, we are the Established Facts.
Yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 163.
Quick and safe.
We are going to be discussing the important topic of party games on this episode. I don't know why my head is moving around so much while I say this.
It's your Shatner.
That's got to be.
It's
what
because
it
of your title this episode.
That's what is my title this episode?
Please, you had such the great action in this. The
Party Captain Don.
No, it was Party. Because I gotta.
That's right.
That was why.
That's right. Okay, so yes, we're talking about the ins and outs of party games.
I feel like I should have one of those little things that you every time you say party games.
Oh, one of the party
The little
horns, whatever
yeah.
they are. Yeah. That you blow on obnoxiously on New Year's Eve. Yeah, my kids love
Purim,
those.
oddly enough. You could do it at
Yeah, that's true.
Purim.
Purim.
Yeah.
Purim.
Purim. Yeah,
For those Jewish people out
that
there.
is still
there
a
you are.
holiday.
It is still, thank you.
Holiday celebration includes parties.
And this is early December, so
It
happen in
is.
December.
It is. Yeah.
Purim usually happens around March.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
but-
springy.
holidays.
Is that the
That's
Purim?
when
Is
celebrating that Haman didn't kill all the Jews.
That's right.
Yay.
Celebrate the story of
Yay, Esther, you rock!
Every time you say the name Haman, if you were in a Jewish synagogue, you would actually, everyone yells boo or ah or these
that's
really
right,
annoying
'cause
sounds to
the
cover
actual-
up the strong
Haman was the next guy to the king.
Correct.
Right.
that's
The actual point
That's right.
of the booing, it's not after they say the name Haman.
Right.
It's
You're supposed to
you're
guess right
supposed
as
to
he
read
says the
along,
name.
and before they come to it, you are booing so that
Correct.
you cannot hear his name being heard.
Correct. But if you don't have it in front
He
of
who
you,
must not be named.
exactly.
as opposed to Paul Heyman, who everyone cheers and chants along with.
I love Paul Heyman.
And that's their favorite party game.
and he is Jewish.
He's a New York Jew,
That are,
by the way.
Oh my goodness! I love that. This is where our discussion has started.
I don't know how.
It can only continue from here.
Welcome to the Established Facts, where we talk about all things theology.
That's right.
we are
right.
still an apolitical, apolitical podcast.
Yeah, but that doesn't fret our knowledge base.
No, it doesn't. Our brain still has
Pertaining
info.
to someone.
That is right. That is right. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our introductions. And you know what? Since she's here today, we'll go ahead and start to my right.
This is Dr. Deb after a hiatus of 5-6 episodes now. I don't know.
28, but it's okay.
Who's counting?
We love you.
Hello, I'm back.
This is Josh.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm Lance.
I'm Avital.
This is Princess Katie.
I'm Jake.
And this, of course, is your party cat.
That was good.
Your party captain. Big.
Boo.
No, don't do it. Big Don. It's Big Don. I'm the nice one.
Oh yes, it is. It is. What are we going to do? So it's totally been
Yes,
a month.
King Friday.
It's totally been a month since that happened. But if you have not seen some of our personal Facebook posts, please check out Breakfast Anytime on YouTube.
That's right. If you want to know what Don is really like,
It's true.
you'll watch that.
Don and I were involved in an improv
Don, you were
performance
What?
in October that I think you
still
should
need to-
enjoy.
it is.
so-
It is hysterical.
Yes.
And Scottish Barbie is the greatest thing of all time.
Or Highland Barbie, as we found out
Highland
later.
Barbie, that's right. Okay, so
Like the Highland Mall in New Jersey?
it's similar, very similar. Yep, yep. Only
That's-
there's an ocean that separates.
That's Scottish Barbie played by Pikachu Baka.
Pikachu. Oh my gosh, Emily Schaub, you're my favorite. Okay, so Party games. These are games that you would play. Hold on. At a party. That's right.
At a kid's
Wow.
Insane. So for our versus topic on our discussion of party games, we will have your opinion on what you prefer. Action-based party games similar to charades, or I'll even go as far as, depending on the kind of party, beer pong or something along those lines.
Pinatas.
Pinatas. That's a
great-
an awesome party
Pin the
game.
tail on the donkey.
Sure.
If you're at
Any
your
of,
toddler's
any
game.
that's right. If you are working with children, Simon Says can be a party game. Things like that. So active party games versus
Passive party game.
yeah, or tabletop style party games. So if you are going to an adult party and you play like Kings in the Corner, things like that. Adult drinks, Lance. Adult drinks. Don't look at me like
I
that.
don't know what Kings in the Corner is.
Oh, it's a
Yeah,
card
I don't
game that
either.
you. Oh my.
I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Well, it's a card game that involves a lot of
played
alcohol.
Bullshtick, and I've played Arkhole, but I've never played Kings in the Corner.
Okay, well, I'll have to teach you guys sometime. We'll play our drinking game. Could be a party game.
For
Yeah, that's
sure.
true.
Sniff
If you
and
get
cry.
more than one person sitting around
Yeah, because then it's
playing
just alcoholism.
Say, I want to know the group of people that just sits around and listens to a podcast. Like,
Us.
that's how they
Us.
hang out.
Just us.
No, that's just us talking.
Yeah.
We don't.
That would be an interesting episode.
I challenge
We have
us
listened to our
to
podcast.
have
As a group?
a drinking game
With more
while
than
we do an
one of
episode.
us. Like when you were putting your grill
Sniff,
together.
cry.
No.
When you were-
Anyways.
when you were putting your grill together,
Oh.
and I was here, and I think
Oh yeah. I do
maybe
remember that.
Brian, somebody else was here also.
You were trying to catch up, so I just put it on the main.
Yep.
Yeah. She listened like 3 episodes while we were putting it together.
Okay. Of us.
Yeah.
Right on.
That was
At least somebody
she was,
did.
She was
while
watching
ago.
listening to the Video Game Madness series, so they were shorter episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was her
God,
party
that
game.
was
Yep.
sitting
5
Think
years
about the-
ago? 6 years ago? I'm going to jump off a building.
We have to do another one.
Yeah, and your
Yeah.
grill putting together, that was.
It was a challenge.
No, but how long ago was it?
Yeah, about 5-6 years ago. No, 4 years ago.
I was
We
gonna
moved
say,
into
like,
this
it
house
wasn't
in
quite that long.
2012.
The episodes
know.
were 5 or 6
But
years ago.
anyways,
Yeah,
But
so those
anyways.
none of that has anything to do with party
Absolutely
games. Okay, so active party games versus tabletop party games. So these would be Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples, things that your non-hobby gamer friends might play and enjoy. Wits and Wagers, things, Taboo, Gestures, all of those kind of games. Those would be considered party games. Even what is the game that they did all those YouTube videos on with the pie in the face thing?
it
or
would be
whatever?
Pie in the Face.
Yeah, that one. That would be it.
It's either called Pie in the Face or it's called Pie Face.
No, it's
but,
called
yeah.
Pie in the Face.
Yeah,
Pie in the face. We'll look at that.
That's I mean,
No
that's the game.
original ideas anymore.
Turns out there is a toilet-based game that's very similar.
I have seen that.
What?
Yeah, the WWE has
You
a
fill
series.
it with water and then you flush the toilet so many times and try not to get it.
Yep,
to
you spin a toilet
spray
paper
on you.
roll that has a number on it.
Yep.
They just played it on WWE's Game Night on the YouTube
They
channel.
call this one Poo in the Face.
I don't remember exactly what it
think
was
it's
called,
called-
but
Duck. That's what it's called.
yep, it's a thing. Alexa Bliss won because she never had water sprayed on her.
Oh, there you go.
Did
And this
someone-
is what
she
is
get
wrong
someone
with
to
this
get in front of
country,
her
ladies and
that-
gentlemen.
That's right.
That's how
That's right.
WWE would do it.
That's right.
true.
The millennial generation is,
Skip Trump versus Hillary. This is the problem with this United States right here.
that's
okay,
right.
I'm
because
sorry.
we celebrate water splashing out of a toilet onto our
Hey,
faces.
water
That's
sports.
correct. That is
water
absolutely
sports.
correct.
Okay, so we're going to go around the table in the same direction that we introduced everyone. And we're going to just, answer with your preference. Do you like active party games versus passive party games or tabletop party games? So we will go ahead and start with Dr. Deb, and then we will go around the table, and I will end. Go ahead, Deb.
Tabletop party games.
I would have to agree
With
with my wife. Tabletop.
Active.
okay,
Tabletop.
Tabletop party games.
Active.
yeah. I'm going to say active party games are what I prefer.
By the way, the game I was referring to is called Toilet Trouble. For those of you-
Toilet Trouble. There we go. The first time I saw that was actually on a YouTube video with a couple of Irish guys playing it.
Oh God!
I bet there was all
Seems
kinds
like
of
that'd be
cursing.
a game that you would want
It
to
was
learn how to
hysterical.
play if you're going to be a plumber.
This is what a toilet looks like. Now stick your head down in there and hit the. And yeah, that's right. Okay. So, Deb, you said active party game. Okay.
No. I
you
said
said
tabletop.
you
I was
said
tabletop.
who said active?
Lance.
I said
You and I and
And-
Lance.
yeah.
You and I and Lance. Okay.
Yeah, Lance, Jake,
The only right answer. No, I'm just kidding. Well, don't look at me like that, Josh.
The others are left. It's fine.
That's right. See, the others are left answers. We were at a crossroads.
I'm very
you went
much not left, but
We
okay.
went right. Right is right.
Not left.
Left is left.
Yes, no. Left is left.
Righty
That's
tighty.
true. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Whatever that
We're just
means.
talking about plumbing.
We're just talking about plumbing. That's it. Josh, why do you like tabletop party games more than active party games?
I think that tabletop games can, though maybe not always, but can stretch your mind. And being of a the engineer, scientific, creative type that I am, I tend to see the mind stretched a little bit more. Even though some of those games are completely innocuous or useless and stupid. Like, I love Cards Against Humanity, but it's terrible. It is created by terrible human beings and made for the terrible human being.
Thank
and
you.
yet entertaining at the same time. So the one I can think of was we just did the actual play of it not too long ago. Snake Oil, very much a tabletop one where you have to be
That's
able
made
to
for shysters.
you have to be able to justify what it is you're trying to sell, and takes a little more brain power and thinking to pull that off. That's kind of why.
Okay. And Deb, why do you prefer tabletop party games?
Okay, well, I'm going to be a doctor for just a second, so sorry. But I think that tabletop party games, I think, can be a little bit more inclusive. So if you have your 75-year-old grandma who maybe wants to play a game with you and thinks that it looks like fun, she ain't going to play Twister with you. She should not be playing Twister with you, at least. Some of these more active, you got to get up, you got to jump up, you're running around the room, and... some people can't. Some people aren't able to. Maybe they're not feeling good. Whatever. I feel like tabletop, okay, you sit in your chair, or possibly, maybe you're sitting in a circle or whatever. But at the same time, you can include more people who maybe physically can't do all of the shenanigans that you do in your active. For instance, some people at the table are 27 weeks pregnant, and therefore Twister, not a great option. Charades.
I mean, I'm not 26 weeks pregnant.
I know.
wouldn't play
Yeah,
Twister.
surprise. Lance was going to tell us later, but, I just blurted it out. No.
Thanks, Deb.
Welcome. And I feel like it's more of a lot of those active games, you do have to be willing to, you got to have energy and you got to be willing to get up there and be the hi. And not every personality is like that. So I feel like you can include and you can include more people who are maybe a little more, shall we say, shy? Shall we say reticent? Shall we go through the thesaurus? But I think they're included
you and Josh
more.
are using words that I've never even heard. All right, that's not fair.
Sorry. Shy people might feel more included if you do a tabletop party game as opposed to the your Twister, your charades, in which your big personalities will do great at, and the other ones are like, I don't want to get up there and do that. I'm going to look stupid, and they won't do it. And then the party pooper sitting in the corner, and you feel like a bad hostess. So,
well, what about games? And I know we've got other people that want to answer too, but what about games such as like win, lose, or draw, or Pictionary, for lack of a better
Trivia contest.
equivalent? Yeah, or a trivia contest or something like that. That is kind of not really a tabletop game, but not necessarily kind of
active game.
It is a little bit, I guess. It is a little bit.
those are they're kind of both. So I think that's the reason why I'm kind of like,
Sure.
It depends. Those games do tend to put people on the spot though with a performance component to it.
Sure.
They have to draw the thing. They have to act out the thing. They have to whatever the thing. And if they're not a big performance person, or if they're really shy, or they don't know anybody else in the room, or whatever reason, if they feel awkward about doing that in front of people, then they may not want to join in, or they may not really enjoy themselves if they join in. Whereas if it's a game like Apples to Apples, you still do have the moment where they will be the judge, but all the rest of the time they're just putting their card in amidst a whole group of them, and they're sort of more, it's not all about them. It's not all eyes on them, staring at them, waiting for them to finish drawing the thing. So I think it's a little easier for an introverted personality, of which I happen to be. Now, if you have a game where all the introverts can watch all the extroverts do some crazy stuff, bada bing, you got an improv show, and you got yourself a great
Yeah, I
party
was gonna
game.
say, that's the difference between a party game and an improv show.
Yeah, pretty much. Then there you go. But, okay, everyone needs to take a personality test, and we're going to sort you in this party
Yeah.
game.
Slytherin.
Introverts on the left, extroverts
Extroverts
outside.
outside.
That's where all the stuff's going down.
Exactly. We'll watch through the window, and we will
right.
drink our coffee and watch you. So that's kind of my thought. I don't know if Avital had... She lifted her hand at one point.
Well,
but I don't know if
Avital,
it was
what do you
just
what do
to
you think?
no.
wave her hand or something.
I like the tabletop games more because more of like I am, shy, and I don't like the, being put on the spot and getting up in front of people like that. Like a lot of active party games are about. I don't know if this is exactly a party game, but it does involve drawing, but in a different way because everyone is drawing, called Telestrations. Have you ever
Okay.
played that? It's
Oh,
a
that is
telephone
great.
game, but like
Oh
with
yeah,
drawing,
we played that.
Oh, it's
we
so
played
fun.
that
At your house,
Oh
yep.
my gosh, that
It's-
game is
there's
so
no
much
point.
fun.
That was a
Just
lot of
have
fun.
Like no one wins or anything.
Yeah.
I
it's
demand
just-
a real play of this.
It's really fun. Like it would have to be.
We
a
could.
Video.
We
It would
I was gonna
absolutely
say,
have to
we
be a
wouldn't
video
be able to do it
episode.
as a factor play on the
No,
podcast,
just-
but
just
we could.
us.
Yeah.
It's really.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
a lot of fun.
Like everybody gets a card, and then you roll a die to see like which, thing
Mm-hmm.
on the card, and then you have to draw that, and then you flip it over and you hand it to the next person. They have to
They
flip it
look-
back
yep.
and guess what it is, and they write their guess down, and they hand it to the next person. The next person has to draw
What their
what
guess
your guess
was.
was, and then it goes all around the table.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Anyway, that's
Visual telephone.
Oh
yes,
yeah.
it's visual
Yeah.
telephone.
And
It's a lot of fun.
hysterical.
But
That sounds like a live video, like a FP.
Yeah, I'm down.
It's very-
that
it's
game
very
is
fun.
so
Live.
much fun.
That
What,
was.
I would be okay with that, and I'm quite introverted, and that sounds
Yeah,
like fun.
Telestrations.
So
yeah, it's
I
a lot
might
of fun. We played
I
it a
do a
lot
lot
with
of-
my family.
I do a
my
lot of
mom's family,
Goodwilling. I
so-
might see if I can pick up one or two copies of that.
Yeah, it's a lot
At
of
a
fun.
Goodwill.
But it does have like the little things that you draw on and flip over. So it kind of
Yeah, they're like little dry
it makes
erase
it
boards.
easier to do that. You could do it probably without that, but
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's the not having to like get up there in front of everybody and do
Sure.
things like that, and also like I'm an active person, but I am active on my own terms, like when I want to be. So I'm probably going to be up and moving around while we're playing the tabletop games, anyways. So it's not like, oh, well, this is more physically active and you're moving around. I'm like, well, I'm going to be moving around anyways, so that's not like a draw for me.
I have to get up and move.
But yeah, I have a party game made by Big Potato Games called Bucket of Doom that I have not played yet. Like I won it for free from them
I've
at
seen
Gen
that.
Con a
I've
couple
seen that
years
game
ago.
at Target.
I won it for free and I still haven't played.
Okay.
It's more an adult party game, but we need to play sometime. It's like there's a deck of things and you have like a hand of like random
Other
items.
things.
You have a hand of random items in your hand, right? Like 5 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a scenario and you have to pick an item and like explain how you would get out of that scenario.
Oh, nice.
And then there's one person that's the judge each round, and so
Okay.
it sort of runs the same as
That's fun.
Cards
So
and
it's-
Humanity or
that's-
whatever.
I was gonna say it
But
sounds a lot like
it-
Super Fight, only
Yeah.
with
It
objects.
requires more creativity,
Yeah.
which I like.
Yeah.
That appeals to me because Cards Against Humanity can get old if you don't like keep buying all the expansions or whatever. I'm like, okay, it's just not quite as funny.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it 40 times.
seen it
at this
over.
Or if you don't like that type of humor particularly, you're willing to play it like once in a blue moon, but
Right.
you're not one of those people that's like, I want to play Cards Against Humanity every time we get together.
Yeah, yeah. But so I do it.
And play
sometimes. I
Apples to
wanna
Apples
actually play
Black,
this
and
game.
then get new cards.
That'd be interesting.
That's my take on things.
Okay. And Katie, I believe you were the only other one that chose tabletop party games. What do you prefer about tabletop over active party games?
Well, just physically, I'm an incredibly awkward person.
Okay.
I have
Socially.
as Jake nods his head, like
Very certainly.
I have a very hard time being aware of the space that I'm existing in.
You have spatial awareness problems too. High five.
Yeah, I'm.
Don't
Be
miss
better
though.
if you guys missed.
Yeah,
I was
Sitting right next to each other, though, and the people on the listening can't see that. So
Yeah.
but yeah, or anything that involves.
imagine that we missed.
That's right.
Boom, we missed.
They did the
for
turkey.
everybody
One
at
went for a
home.
high five, the other went
Yes.
for a fist bump, and then the turkey.
Awkward.
Because it's Thanksgiving, folks.
That just happened.
Yeah, well, okay. It just happened, folks.
Was Thanksgiving, and not that long ago.
I don't know when Thanksgiving was.
It's in November.
October.
It's in November every year.
I said was. I don't know where it is relative to the time in which other people will be hearing this.
Oh, that's right.
In Canada, it's a month earlier.
There you go. We're totally off.
But yeah, I'm also not a super physically active person anyways. Most of my hobbies are very sedentary. I like to read, I like to play tabletop games, I like to papercraft. Like those are all very I'm sitting still and doing a task with my hands and or possibly my eyes.
Yep.
So for me it's just more comfortable. Like so I prefer that. And also like what Josh said, you can use your brain a bit more. I feel like with a lot of the active games it's pretty like there's not a whole lot to it because most of the game is in the activity itself. So I like tabletop style party games because there's a lot more. There seems to be a lot more like comedy and humor to them.
Okay. Well, Jake, I know that party games in general are not necessarily your favorite thing in the world,
This is true.
but I know that you were pretty emphatic about playing active party games and stuff like that. What sort of party games do you tend to lean towards, and why?
Let's see. Well, I know I went to me and Katie just went to a party a couple of weeks ago, and we were just playing beer pong, which is like water in the cups or whatever, and just having fun with a bunch of friends. That I really like that though, just because everyone gets very competitive. You really feel the energy in the room.
Incredibly animated, yeah.
And especially depends who you're playing with. Your audience that you have, they can join in, and it just make the game so much more fun. And we had like other things that we were doing too. They had like foosball, stuff like that, just other stuff to keep everyone preoccupied. So
Sure.
you don't have anyone standing alone or just sitting back, feeling like they're not a part of the party. So
If
it
they
was just-
are, it's by choice. Just
correct. Yeah, maybe
chilling
they're,
out,
maybe they're
having
just
a
like
beer.
over there talking with
Sure.
other people or whatever. But everyone's like actively participating, which is really cool. I always like that aspect. A lot of people that I hang out with, like to participate in those type of things. So
okay. Lance, what about you? What do you like about active party
I
games?
concur with Jake over there. I think everyone has an opportunity to join in most active games. I also think that if you're not in the game, for example, if you're doing like a win, lose, or draw thing, someone from the corner of the room, maybe an introvert that just overheard things, just shouts out the answer. Like they know. And then they're involved in the game, whether they meant to be or not.
Right.
And I mentioned piñatas earlier. And my 96-year-old grandmother got a swing on the piñata at one of my cousin's birthday parties recently. So she didn't mind so much because she just wanted to feel involved. Little stick, big piñata. She didn't do much damage, but she was still involved. So she got to do that. Also, when I was deployed to Afghanistan the second time, we were there over my birthday, and my mom had sent us a piñata that was filled with candy and things. And you take a bunch of people who are in a very high-stress situation all the time, like 24/7, everything is on alert. You give them a few minutes to just chill out,
To vent on
play
a
against the
paper
piñata.
mache pony.
We were giggling like we were children. I mean, there were people that went up and they whacked it
Yeah.
once or twice. Then there was the guy that had the emotional issues and needed that outlet, and he would not stop.
I'm
until we
having a
said-
hard time at work right now.
Great.
But imagine if you had that, say, at the end of medical school after all your finals are over.
That's good stuff.
Imagine if you had that after, say, a very, very stressful day at work or after a test or whatever. that release of everything, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
That's the kind of energy, that's the kind of joy that we had in that one moment. So that's what I'm saying. Like, those games are unintentionally fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be fun. Yay, we had a good time. But that particular moment was just, wow, we got to cut loose for just a split second and be people. And not worry about alarms going off because we're focused on this one thing. And I took video of it and I sent it to my mom so that she could see that, okay, we're all having fun, and it was what it was, and it served the purpose that it needed to serve.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she did it, was remember that you're humans. Remember that you're also our children, because
Right.
not everyone gets the care package.
Right. Well, and it's in a situation like that, it's important to have that jovial spirit every once in a while, because it, like you said, it breaks the monotony of constantly being on alert or constantly being at work. One thing as simple as it is, one thing that I, on a side note, really enjoyed when I used to work out at the airport at the FedEx hub is when they would do like their employee appreciation night, when it was just, you chumming up with some friends that maybe work in a completely different operation, and you're sitting at a table and your manager or somebody else's manager is handing you, a couple hot dogs and a bag of chips, and just having that appreciation for this job could not be done without you guys there, and it's time for you guys to just have some cut loose and relax time. I think that's really cool. That's a different aspect to active party games and the purpose of them that I don't think I had thought about.
And we'd mentioned the introverts in the room. Some friends of mine years ago, we would all get together. We would go to a cabin in the woods and just kind of be alone with ourselves for 3 or 4 days. Mm-hmm. And introverts really loved the aspect of, I just want to sit and do my thing. But we had to involve them somehow. So we came up with hide and seek in the dark. That way, the people that liked playing games, by all means, go play this active game of hide and seek. The introverts could just sit in the dark, read a book, with a little bitty light, and it was fine. Everyone was participating, but not everyone was playing.
Right.
So I think that's a really good party game most people don't think about, is hide and seek.
That is a good party
That's
game.
true. I hadn't even considered that.
We used to play sardines, which is different.
Oh
Sardines.
my God, I love sardines.
Similar but different.
Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag me too, sardines.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the opposite of hide and seek.
Not exactly.
Instead of everyone going and hiding and one person looking for them, trying to tag them before they get to the base, sardines, you have one person hide, and then everybody goes to try and find them and hides with them.
When they find them.
Gotcha.
Until everyone is...
Yeah, like sardines
until
in a can.
everyone is there, and then the last person who finds everyone is
Loses.
the
The
next
next
person
person to hide. Which is good if you
Yeah.
have a very small bubble. Not so good if you don't like people touching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was definitely
Like, don't
one of my
hide in a
favorite
small closet,
growing up.
because everyone will join you in that small closet.
One,
That was the thing of finding a place to hide. That there could also be however many other, and you're like, oh man,
Yeah, Joey's laying across everybody now because there's not enough space.
yeah. We played this,
so I think it would work better.
I obviously love active party games, and we talked about a couple of them already. One of, you brought up sardines, and one of my favorite games that we played, I think I was 20 or 21, but I was still pretty active with our church's youth group and stuff like that, and we used to play this game called The One Ring, and what we would do is we would turn off all of the lights, and we would have a glow stick necklace, and someone would hide it somewhere. You couldn't cover it up, like you had to be able to see it, but someone would hide it somewhere, and then you had someone else that was dressed in like a black cape or something like that, that was one of the wraiths, and the object was everyone in the room had to try and get the ring and get it back to the room, but if the wraith tagged you, you had to go back to the room. So it was like tag.
It was like kick the can.
Sure,
I was just gonna say,
Okay, I
kick
never-
the can's a party game.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
Kick the can. So
I don't either.
so kick the can was a
Is
almost like a hide and seek type game, but there would be a can in a ring at some particular location, but everyone would have to scatter for like 60 seconds or something along those lines, and it was team based. The first team that managed to get to the circle without being tagged and kick the can wins.
Really?
Okay.
That's different than the way I
Well,
played
no,
it.
how did you play it?
We played it where it's basically hide and seek rules. One person is it, everyone else goes and hides. While the one person is going out to try to find people, they're also trying to escape their hiding place to go kick the can. And if they kick the can, then the game ends and the person comes back. The thing was, the person that's it would stay kind of between where he was checking people and the can. So if you started to run after it, he could run over and tag you.
Nice. So I really love active party games for the reason why we're talking about different party games is because there's an energy that comes with playing with a bunch of other people and you're all physically doing stuff. And you don't, I'm not a small guy, but I still love party games because...
You're getting smaller. You shaved your beard.
That's true. I did shave my beard. I got a haircut, everything like that. Lost like 5 pounds of
Your
just
mass
hair.
is shrinking.
It's, density, not so much. So I really love the
Your
idea...
matter is shrinking.
Right. I really love the idea that, everyone is physically trying to reach the same goal or something like that. If it's hide and seek, if it's beer pong or something like that, especially if you're playing team-based active games, party games and stuff like that, it's a lot of fun. Because I love improv, charades was always a game that I enjoyed playing because you never really know what you're going to pull out of the hat. Don't look at me like that. You don't like charades?
I
Katie?
absolutely hate charades. Remember the physically awkward thing that we talked about earlier? I am terrible at charades.
Okay.
I am horrible. I'm the person that everybody's like, well, let's make teams. Oh God, quick pick me before I have to get stuck with Katie again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's like the dodgeball syndrome.
Yeah.
I like the Hotel Transylvania Invisible Man charades.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you a duck? Are you a... I'm terrible at this.
Glasses.
Glasses. That's great. There was a game, thinking of party games and active games like that, there was a game that I played when I was a camp counselor called Star Wars. Huh?
What? Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad story. It's a good one. Called Star Wars. And Star Wars was like dodgeball and tag. So you had different teams, and each team had a Jedi that had a pool noodle as their lightsaber, and a Frisbee as your base. And everyone else had a koosh ball or a little foam missile or something along those lines. And you all started on your team's Frisbee. And that was kind of your safe zone. If you got hit with a ball or a dart or something like that without catching it, similar to dodgeball rules, you froze. And then the only person that could unfreeze you was the Jedi, could run over and tag you with the lightsaber and then get back to the base. If the Jedi got hit, then essentially you didn't have anybody on your team to save you. So it was very similar, like dodgeball, freeze tag, that kind of thing. And that was probably one of...
Lightning bolt.
Yeah. Very much so. But what was great about that game was when you are playing with 45 kids and you have 3 teams of 15 and there are just foam balls flying every direction. Just the mass chaos was incredible. Yeah, it was one of my favorite things in the world. And I think similar to our conversation when we talked about deception games, I really love to see the human nature of people come out in a game. And that is an aspect of that sheer fear that you're going to get hit by a foam ball and then be frozen and your Jedi's not going to be able to get to you. It's so fun to watch. I just, I live on fear is really just the problem I think that I have. So,
What a horrible, horrible thing to say.
well,
Horrible. It's a horrible.
horrible.
Horror.
What a horrible thing to say. Okay, so a little bit of examination on party games. So There are 1.5 million. I mean, you can walk down any department store or go to any Goodwill, and you'll see like 28,000 different party games that are just hanging out there waiting for you to pick them up. But I want to kind of examine what makes a good party game. What makes an entertaining party game, regardless if it's an active party
The people
game
playing it.
or the table. So the people playing it. Mm-hmm. Why is that important, Lance?
Because you could have the most fun game in the world if you have a whole bunch of curmudgeons that, no, I don't want to play these games. It's not going to be fun. You could have a game as easy as tic-tac-toe, but if the people have an imagination, you're like, oh, I put an X. No, that's not an X. That's an X-Wing fighter, and that's the Death Star in the middle. So no matter how many X's I have, I still win.
Nice.
Yeah, the people you have absolutely make it. I can think of the very first time I ever played Cards Against Humanity at Gen Con. What was it?
Yeah.
And Lance and I had a great time with it.
I think Dr. Deb did as well.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Deb was killing it. Like, but
I had to think. I was like, okay, loading.
Dr. Deb. But we
Gen Con
had
was late. It was like 10 or 10:30. It was a pretty late game, right?
It was. I think it was my first or second Gen Con. It's been quite a few years, but we were with a mixed group of people, and we had a few people at the table that were very obviously not enjoying themselves, and it very obviously affected the entire mood of everybody because we were just kind of like. Like I can tell that you're visibly uncomfortable and you kind of hate me right now for playing this game and I don't know what to do about it. So
And yet they stuck around.
this is getting weird now. So yeah, absolutely. You can play. No, obviously, Cards Against Humanity is in and of itself a very polarizing game, but you could be playing something completely family friendly, completely fun, like silly, awesome, great. And if you've got people that are just like, I'm not enjoying this and I'm going to let you know, then it's absolutely going to bring down your game no matter what you're playing.
Avital?
I have so my family, my mom's family, that I mentioned that we play Telestrations with. Okay, so my sister gave me for my birthday one year, One Night Ultimate Werewolf. I had never played before. But she was like, I thought maybe we could bring it to the lake. We went family vacation. And try it out. But, like, we play, like, catchphrase and things like that with the family. And I hadn't played it, so, like, I had to read the rules myself and, like, try and learn how to play it so I could tell them how to play it. But it was...
that good, huh?
Stressful situation, to say the least.
It sounds dramatic.
My aunts, well, one of them especially, but I think they just did not grasp the concept of what this type of game was supposed to be about.
Get it.
At all.
What am I supposed to be doing?
No, they're like, I'm like, okay, this, that, explaining the game. And they're like, what's the point? I'm like, well, this is the game and you're trying to figure out things. Like, but they're like, oh, no, this. And they were just like, oh, this is stupid. And
Then they went and got some spoons.
it was so frustrating. Like, spoons! They do play spoons.
See? There's a kind of player that likes to play spoons.
Yeah.
That's the more aggressive party game player. Then there are ones that like to play the group fun games, and they are not mutually exclusive, but you can tell which person you fit in with.
Which is what, like, I have to be, like, persuaded sometimes to play games with the family because, like, I don't like competitive games. I do not like the feeling in the family when we are playing the competitive games, even like catchphrase.
Sounds like you guys have some really intense. I think you need some maybe a little therapy.
Story time with
Avital.
Avital.
Oh goodness.
Deb, what room
I
do
don't
we
really
have to
want
talk?
play.
Oh boy.
Because some of my family members can get very competitive, and I don't like it. But yeah, no,
You look at them and you politely
it
go,
was extremely
"Congratulations," and move on.
Trying to teach them how to play this game that I hadn't played myself before, and they just were not helping at all. Like my
weren't
cousins, after we're talking, and they're like, "I'm sorry, that was so bad." Like they were just not. I'm like, yeah, they were just not even trying. Like they didn't want to try and get into the spirit of the game. It felt like.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, can we try and play this game till my sister gave it to me for my birthday, and like, I think it might be fun. It was
So
so
your
good.
friendly
I
neighborhood
haven't played it
announcement.
since. I'm just like,
Nightmare.
If you don't want to play a game, don't play the game. Rather than taking away all of the joy from the room in an enormous black hole. That
Don't
will
be
never
the fun
end.
sponge.
Don't be the fun sponge. Let other people have fun, and you sit in the corner and drink your coffee in your awesomeness. But don't spoil it for other people.
Debbie, I feel like because you are currently pregnant, every comment you have has something to do with coffee because you probably can't drink it.
I have noticed that too.
Yeah, that
I
is
can only
true.
have decaf. I miss my regular caffeine.
Yeah, I think that's the second or third coffee reference you've made. this
Josh is
episode.
now petting Deb's head. I'm sorry, baby. I know.
I'm
and as soon as this
sorry.
baby
My
pops
fault.
out, I'm
There,
giving you a
there.
pot of extra strength coffee.
Just
We're
saying.
having Starbucks and sushi. It's okay.
Well, yes.
Okay, maybe a little bit for Starbucks,
Yeah.
but
Sushi, though, that is in my future.
Just take her to Italy and give her a real cappuccino.
Or
Yeah.
Turkish coffee in Israel.
There you go. See?
Turkish coffee is so
Travel around the
yes, it
world
is.
sampling different coffees with a newborn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's a thing.
But yeah, I think the point I'm getting at is that any game can be fun or not fun, depending on the players and how they are reacting.
So what you're saying is know your audience when it comes to party games.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's a really good segue into my next question.
I don't think some other people got to answer the question.
Well,
It was literally just me, Lance, and
I
Avital.
don't care. No, I'm just kidding.
It's okay.
Do you
I
have-
actually was very happy with the answers that were said.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake?
Same with me, man.
All right. See, look at that. It's that intuitive nature. I already knew you guys were fine. Okay. So my next question for Lance and Jake and Debbie to answer.
Debbie Dancer?
Debbie to
I know. It just sounded like you said Debbie Dancer.
Dr. Debbie Dancer.
That's-
Dr. Debbie Dancer.
Paging Dr. Debbie Dancer.
She is Dr. Deborah Demery, and I am happy about that.
Debbie Dancer
greatest
sounds like
soap-
a name
soap
for a
opera.
racehorse.
I
Like
do
racehorses have really weird
dance.
names with a lot of alliteration. Like, oh, and in the lead we've got Debbie Dancer. Like,
And you know what horses really like is party games.
on the main stage, paying her way through medical school, Dr. Debbie
I
Dancer.
got a new charging cable. Okay, so my question is, what are the advantages to using party games as a gateway into playing hobby games with people that may not have been exposed to them, a la Jake?
A la me.
A la mode.
So, I guess to help frame my question here, Jake, as somebody who has recently started getting into more hobby games, and Gen Con was kind of your first real taste of a bunch of different styles of gaming.
It's true.
And I know that, again, party games are not necessarily your favorite. However, the experience that you have with playing games with other people can be shaped through your interaction in party games. How do you feel like, as somebody who is newly getting into tabletop or hobby gaming, the avenue of party games can be used to get people into other styles of gaming? Yes.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I was looking at like Cards Against Humanity. That was one of the very first games that I played for like a party game. That was just interesting to kind of see the worst that it can bring out in people, and then the worst that it can bring out in the judges. So it kind of sounds weird. I'm going to go off track a little bit, but definitely your strategy to how you're going to win a game, you can kind of look at how that's going to help you move into like other games to see like, you need to do. You need to cater to your audience in order to, like win the objective or something like that.
Okay.
I remember a few Apples to Apples is played here pretty frequently on Thanksgiving when we have our family over.
Oh yeah, it's
And
gotten very popular.
They very much play towards who has the judging hand.
Yeah.
So
because we're all family.
But when the
So we know how to
12-year-old
play this.
when the 12-year-old comes up, the 12-year-old boy
who
You
doesn't
can make
care.
silly. But he's going to pick the one that he thinks is the funniest. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not.
Right.
He thinks it's the funniest. You give it to my wife, she's going to find the one that's the most absurd, and you give it to her brother, it has to be the most dead on. Literal.
Yes.
Literal everything.
Absolutely. And you know that. And so we've literally had moments, I think it's funnier even before the cards are revealed at my house, because we look at the person, we look at what that should be, and we're like, oh, I've got this. Don't even bother playing your good card. I have got this. Okay, I'm positive. And we're like, okay, I got a pretty good one too. No, it won't beat this. We're like, no. It's Chris is the judge. I got this. And they're like, okay. And it's usually one of his obsessions that he's absolutely correct. It's got Indy 500. It's World War II. It's something like that.
I have a challenge for the Kelly family.
Oh, Lord.
When it comes to apples.
Okay.
From
I'm
your
scared.
ENFP Inspirer
Okay.
host friend here.
I'm scared.
Everyone gets their hands dealt out to them. They get to look at their hands to see what cards are theirs. They put their hands down and shuffle them
Okay.
and randomly draw a card from the hand in which they have already seen the cards of.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel like I want to be there for this activity.
So there's your confirmation on how important it is to play to your audience.
Yes. But that was actually one of the first kind of break into party games that I used with, because we were very classic. Okay, where's Monopoly? Where's Risk? We're going to play Euchre. We're going to play, those very
Sure.
classic games. And we had apples to apples. And so one time, and the 12-year-old and my now 14 or 15-year-old cousin, Raina and Caleb, we said, hey, have you heard of Apples to Apples? Oh, yeah, we played it at, some of our friend's house or something like that. Okay, you guys want to play a game? And so we start off, we just got those two, and I think it's me and maybe Chris, and so it's not a very big group. And we were having so much fun. Okay, now my cousin's coming over. What are you playing? Oh, I think I heard of that before. Can I be dealt in? Sure, dealt in. And before I know it, we're having so much fun. We're pulling them into this idea of this game. And then we've done some other ones. I can't remember if we've done Quack in the Box with them yet, or some other simple quick.
You should try Flux.
And you know what? I think we did do Flux maybe once at a family picnic.
We've done it at family picnic.
We've done it at the family picnic before. That's another one to be able to get them into. It's not a class, but it's funny. It's goofy. You have a great time with it.
You know what game I want to see you guys play?
What?
Munchkin.
Oh my Lord!
I want to see you play with the ultimate Munchkin, because you're going to have every Kelly at the table.
That's a yes. Oh yeah, because if you don't, we're gonna
That being said, this Kickstarter may be over by the time this happens, but Munchkin Starfinder just happened. Was
That's funny.
running.
That is funny.
Yep.
I
'Cause
think it funded in the first day.
Oh, absolutely, it funded, but it may be over by the time this drops. But Munchkin Starfinder's a thing.
Thought about Red Dragon Inn, but I got to be careful because there's an alcohol component, but it's a pretend alcohol component. So I'm thinking Red Dragon Inn might be in
Not
the
if you play
future,
it
because
right.
that's another one that's quite funny to play. And so, like I said, I'm gazing at my okay. I'm like, no, we can't do Tyrants of the Underdark. There's no way.
You got to ease them in.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's the
mean,
greatest
unless
thing
you're
about
Katie,
the game.
though.
Right, unless you're Katie just baptized with fire.
Hey, Jake, I want to hold you underwater for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Tell me if it's fun.
Yeah, great. Great. Can't wait.
Challenge accepted.
I missed
But because you survived, we know your caliber. We know your
I got a
quality.
party game. Can Jake breathe?
Jake has gills.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
You didn't say you're holding his face underwater.
that's true. I said his head.
Yeah, back of his head underwater.
How does your hair look?
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
goodness. So
Wow. We're
I guess one of the connections that I've been while I've been listening to you guys have been making in my own head when it comes to gateway games. That's the phrase, the term that I like to use is gateway games, because there are a selection of games that are based on popular party game or home game mechanics, such as King of Tokyo. King of Tokyo uses the same mechanic or a very similar mechanic to that of Yahtzee. If you've played Yahtzee, you can play King of Tokyo.
Or poker.
Or poker. Yeah, absolutely. If you play, for example, if you play poker, if you play euchre, if you play games where there is a card counting, if you will, element to it, or that can be used for it, there are a lot of other games out there that allow for something very similar to that. Sushi Go is a great kind of gateway game, super
want to play
easy.
It's very
super
fun.
easy game mechanics with a little bit of a card counting and drafting mechanic. So that's what I mean. Like, there are a lot of really great games out there.
If you're trying to get
That
people
are-
into role playing, Fiasco is a good one.
Fiasco is a great one. Absolutely.
It's a
Well,
party game and
yeah.
an intro to role playing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and especially if you can get them into understanding the idea of a role. So if you break out 2 Rooms and a Boom, or if you break out Are You a Werewolf, and everybody's into it, and you kind of explain it, and then they kind of start to grasp the idea of playing that role that they're playing for that game, you can start to open the door to, oh, well, if you like that game,
You'll love LARPing.
you'll love, yeah, right. you'll love
right
walking
into that.
around and
Hop right
playing
in.
paper, rock, scissors. You'll love it. It's so good.
So stimulating. Oh, wow.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really cool strategies that we can use as gamers to get new people into gaming, and I definitely encourage everyone to do something like that. Kind of play to your audience. That's really probably, in my opinion, one of the most important things about playing party games. Later on in our episode schedule, I had the idea of kind of talking about how to put together the best game night for people, and that's a huge factor in your appropriate game night for the people that you're going to have. If you're going to have a bunch of people like Jake and I and Lance who are going to be rowdy and really excitable and ready to go out there and achieve greatness in our physique when it comes to our action gaming, the rounder we get, the more proficient we are with, something.
Rolling.
Role playing.
Hey.
Then you're gonna have a different game night planned than, say, if you are planning it for people who like the chill, let's sit down at a table and play some really fun, silly games like Super Fight or Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples, something like that. And then, of course, using that as a stepping stone to introduce people to the wide world that is gaming, whether they enjoy role-playing games or just card games, or if they are into and also using their interests as kind of an initiation into it. If they're into zombies, maybe check out Zombicide, or check out the Walking Dead board game, or check out Dead of Winter, things like that. Just kind of knowing your audience when it comes to your party, and understanding that not everybody is going to like playing charades. Obviously, Katie hates it. Not.
But that doesn't preclude her from guessing.
That's true. Absolutely, that's true.
Yeah,
Charades
I would
is
be like, I'm willing to sit here and guess if you do
That's
not
right.
make
If
me
you do
stand
not
up
make
there
me
and
stand.
act, and
That's
try
right.
and act it out.
and go Jake. So yeah, I think having some understanding of who's going to be there and what kind of games you're going to play is definitely a huge part of what makes a party game fun. So very quickly, I just want one idea for an overall party game that, if you could design the best party game in the world, what would it entail?
Are we TMing these? Because people might think of these or hear this and say, I'm going to create that game.
Sure.
Okay.
It can be.
I
okay,
do not
instead of-
have trademark rights, nor am I
Instead
paying
of
for
okay,
it.
I'll let me make it easier. What is an aspect of a party game that we all individually enjoy? Very quickly. So we'll start with Jake. A quality about a party game, whether it be an active party game or a tabletop party game, something about that you enjoy. What makes you want to continue to play that?
First thing that comes to mind is definitely just the skill in getting better at a game.
Okay,
Like, I mean, for example, like beer pong.
sure.
You get better by playing beer pong.
Okay,
So, I mean, that's just always been something that I've wanted to get better at. So, the only way to get better at it is just keep playing.
okay. Katie?
That's because you're ultra competitive and have to win everything.
That's true.
He is the exact opposite of Avital. Jake's like, I want to play every competitive game ever, and I want to smash them.
That's true.
I respect that.
A good quality about party games. So then that's just fun and silly. I just like how party games, more so than other types of games, have like maximum silliness.
Okay. Avital.
I like how even if you are, it's not currently that you're actively doing something, that you are also still entertained by it.
Sure.
Like say it's Cards Against Humanity, and the judge is reading off, the cards that people have, and everybody can laugh at it,
Right.
Even though they're not the one that's reading it off.
That shared
Things like that.
humorous experience.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Got it. Lance.
I agree. I will take it one step further. I will put the entertainment value in the numerator and the time spent in the denominator.
Okay.
As long as the number above is higher, then we're good.
Okay.
It makes sense.
Joshy.
A required amount of creativity. I think that if the game is too straightforward and doesn't require creative thinking, that as a party game, it's kind of failing.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I still want to.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel you, Avital. I have a bajillion party games I've backed on Kickstarter or bought, and I'm like, wow, look, they're collecting dust in my closet. Cool.
Such an amazing game to play by myself.
That
Wait.
many games. Anyways,
Some aspect of the players, and that's a plural possessive personality that gets to come through. So in Apples to Apples, you can get the vibe of the player's personality by how they play it. In other party games too, your Pictionaries, your charades, your whatever, you can see that come through. So it needs to be able to let the personality shine through in whatever form, and that their obsessions, their quirks, their little issues are able to come through, because that is also part of the humor of this person's personality, and they're going to go crazy for this card. This is going to be so funny.
Oh yeah, that
Having
person's always
interaction.
prim and proper in public, but then you get them behind closed doors in a party game, and all of a sudden, woo!
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, oh, there's the real one. Okay,
Deb.
finally saw him.
Damn.
I would have to say probably my favorite aspect about playing a party game, active or passive, tabletop or other, is the camaraderie that you share. Most party games tend to be team-based party games, things like that. At least the ones that I really like are team-based. And so having that shared effort to, if Jake and I are on a team, having that shared effort to know that Jake's going to work as hard as he can for us to succeed as
win.
I am. That's right. Because an aspect of gaming is winning, and when it comes to party games, you want to win.
That's the football player versus the nerd mentality.
Right. Absolutely.
Football player wants to win. Nerd wants to play.
100%. And I love playing, and I really love winning. So yeah, I think being able to have that shared experience with people, and even if they're on opposite teams, everybody having a good time, the energy being up, and just having just constant positive energy and positive strokes towards each other as friends and things like that. I feel like that's probably my favorite aspect of party games. Okay. That all being said, first of all, I want to thank you all for hanging out with us and listening to episode 163, our PARTY, because we gotta episode. And so for our last established fact, or the episode 162 established fact, that we had three. That's right. The first one was
What did I miss?
Yeah, I'm going to
One,
tell you.
two,
This is what
three?
you missed. This is what you missed.
You missed
Like I
three
said,
facts.
previously, we are trying to make up for all the conventions that we've done where there wasn't one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We got to get our 26 facts in a year quota. So for our first fact was the world wins when Hitler shoots himself. The second one was the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the liar. Oh. And then thirdly, epicist. So for our...
Which, when you say it like that, it sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Epicist. Epicist.
Epicus totalis.
That's right. Okay, so for episode 163 of the Established Facts, we have established, as we know it at the Established Facts, equestrian sports. I'm sorry, as we know about equestrian sports on the Established Facts. Bleh.
Equestrian sports.
Equestrian sports, the horses love party games. That's right. Thank you so much for listening, and we will check you later.
Bye. Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus